Boxing King Media in association with Boxer. Delighted to have with me Devpreet Sahni. Devpreet, great to see you. Liking the blazer.
Feeling it.
Feeling the blazer. How are you?
I'm all right. Not many people drop the full name in there, but that's twice you've hit me with my full name. Actually, the full name only really gets used by my wife and yourself. So you're an esteemed company there, Mr. Razaban.
I mean, as the profiles are rapidly increasing for yourself, I think it's important people know the full name.
Yeah, well, I've told you before, it translates to God of Love. So it's, again, lucky Mrs. Sahni.
Silly Zhang
Yeah.
said he wants to end Joyce's career on Saturday night.
That's big. Look, and he means it. Have you seen the size of him? He's a monster, and he's got something that other heavyweights don't have. Certainly professionally, he's got a win over Joyce, right? That's huge. He kept nailing him with that left hand. Joyce couldn't get out of the way of it. It looked like Joyce had never boxed a southpaw before. You would hope that Joyce has made adjustments if you're, rooting for Joyce in this fight, but Zhang has come over here with a real mission to finish Joyce, and he wants Tyson Fury. He's made it very, very clear. So he also said to me that he's got faster. He said that on Saturday we're going to see Chinese speed and Chinese power. Imagine that. Goodness me, Raza. Goodness me.
Joe doesn't say a lot. He's a man of very, very few words. Zhang went on to say that he's brought in 3 different sparring partners, one that's heavier than Joe, one that hits harder than Joe, and one that's faster than Joe. I know Joe, speaking to him, have taken this very, very seriously. Looks like Zhang has too.
Yeah, Zhang has too. I think he said he's got one sparring partner who throws more shots than Joyce. Okay, good luck if that is the case. One that's bigger, Marius Wack, that's who that is, and one that he believes hits harder. My understanding that's Dimitri Bezos, who got knocked out by David Adelaide in a couple of rounds. So I don't know. To me, that doesn't sound like elite sparring. If I'm honest, I don't know too much about there's an Alfonso guy as well, who's one of the 3 sparring partners. But Marius Wack, Dimitri Bezos, and this other guy. If he thinks that that's going to help him, then great. I wouldn't say that Dimitri Bezos hits harder than Joyce. Joyce has got one of the biggest knockout rates in heavyweight boxing right now, and he suffocates and he juggernauts you. But it's all on the line. They've taken it seriously, and I think we're going to see a lighter Zhang tomorrow, and we're going to see a heavier Joyce. I don't think they'll be too far apart in terms of weight.
You've spent some time with Joe, I'm sure, very recently. How's his mindset? We saw Chris Eubank Jr. after the win over Liam Smith, where he said he was at the lowest of lows, and after the fight, he was on the highest of highs. Taking a loss isn't easy, especially when it's your first loss. And in that manner, how's his mindset been from your perspective?
Do you know what? I want to know more. There's only so much he'll let me in, or I'm sure Adam Morley will know more than me about this. But whenever I ask him about it, he just the reaction is more like it annoyed him. So it was like, I was really annoyed with it. I let people down. People weren't celebrating me anymore. I don't know what it was like when all the lights go off and it's just him and his thoughts at night, what goes through his head. But you can imagine it wouldn't have been a great time for him. He's now turned 38. He's got dreams of becoming a world heavyweight champion, but it's all on the line against Zhang. At 38, if you lose to Zhang, it's a long way back. And of course, there's going to be fights for him. There'll always be fights for him. But if he wants to dine at the very top table of heavyweight boxing, he needs to get this guy out of the way. And look, his mindset seems very determined to do that.
Anthony Yarde back on Saturday night. I overheard Frank saying they're scrambling to fix in an opponent. I think a couple have pulled out. Anthony gets Saturday out of the way. Back in the mix with some big fights. There's rumours that Lyndon Arthur might fight Bivol. You've got Boakye Aziz happening next month, and Anthony Yarde, potential fight for him against the winner there as well.
Well, look, out of all those the British light heavyweights you mentioned, he's number one for me, certainly. He's the biggest name. I think that's undoubtable. And after that performance against Beterbiev, he will have a target on his back. He always had a target on his back from these other guys as well, because he's got profile and he's a likeable guy and he gives it his all. He's got a brilliant style, and I think against Artur Beterbiev he won the respect, not just the love, but the respect of a lot of fans, because he traded blow for blow with a monster. And when you put that in context of this monster had 300 odd amateur fights, this monster beat Alexander Usyk, dropped Alexander Usyk in the amateurs, and Anthony Yarde only had 12 amateur fights. He has no right to be competing at that level against Artur Beterbiev, but he did, and he did very well. And look, we're looking forward to having him back, and I think it's only a matter of time before he becomes a world champion. These monsters aren't going to be around forever. These Beterbievs, he's 38. Let's get him out of the way, and I'm sure Anthony Yarde will be up there before long.
I saw the Tyson Fury interview that you did on the Queensberry YouTube channel. I believe it was with yourself, where he said that he wants to become the highest paid athlete in the world on the Forbes kind of list. He wants a Hollywood movie, and he also said that he's accomplished everything. There's nothing left for him. I'm paraphrasing here. There's nothing left for him in boxing. Do you agree with those words? Are there still fights that will define his ultimate legacy when he retires?
Look, I think ultimately the Usyk fight is out there. Usyk didn't do himself any favours in terms of his stock, in terms of getting hit like that by Daniel Dubois and rolling around, but fine. Look, he's still got the other belts. He's still got the other belts. I think that's the fight in particular that fans are clamouring for. What Fury's saying, I understand it, saying he's got nothing left to achieve in terms of. There's quite a famous picture of him lying there with all the belts that he's won in his career. I don't think the WBC was in that one at that point, but he has won every belt, so I understand that. But of course, I want to see him fight Alexander Usyk. I'd love to see the Anthony Joshua fight. I would just add, I don't think the Anthony Joshua fight at this stage has any bearing on his legacy. Anthony Joshua is a 3 times beaten fighter at this point who's on the comeback. If Fury beats him, Fury's a heavy favourite in that fight right now. Doesn't really add much. Adds a lot of money to his pockets, but doesn't add much to his legacy. The Usyk fight, I think, would, because it's undisputed. And as much as he has won all the belts, he hasn't held them all at the same time. I don't think he cares about that, but I think we all want to see it, don't we?
Carl Froch made some comments. I think it was based on that interview that you did, where he said what Tyson Fury is doing is bad for boxing, and that fans are turning away from him.
Yeah, I mean, look, Carl Froch is gonna chat. These comments are going to be put to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is going to snap back, and it's good for everyone. That people with profile are talking about boxing, and it's good for Carl Froch to be talking about Tyson Fury. Gets his profile up there a bit more as well, gets him more hits on his YouTube channel, which is doing very well. So he can say as he pleases, I'm sure.
Final one for me. Conor Ben returns back to the ring this Saturday night in Orlando, Florida. Announced only yesterday. Just your immediate reaction when you heard and you saw those news.
To be honest, we've got this going on, mate. We've got Zhang, we've got Joyce, we've got 2 heavyweight giants, 2 men who respect the sport, and 2 men who are putting it all on the line on Saturday night. So whatever they want to do over there, let them crack on.
Sahni, thank you for speaking to Boxing King Media.
No worries.